It's the 20th of January 2016. All four members of ABBA came together in public, side by side, for the very first time in 30 years. Today, it's exactly 10 years later to the date. And in hindsight, this event seemed to have set everything in motion that happened in the last decade. Agnetha and Frida sang together for the first time in 30 years on stage. We got a brand new ABBA studio album and a new virtual concert experience created by ABBA for all fans of ABBA, an incredible period of reunion. But the road to this was long, and it was 4 decades virtually unthinkable that all four members of ABBA would even be seen together in public. In those 4 decades, we basically got all possible combinations of who appeared with whom, but they seemed to try very hard not to be seen together, all 4 of them. It was very rare that even one of the men and ladies were seen together. So today I want to talk about all those rare times that the members of ABBA came together in public after 1982 when they last recorded together until those fateful events in 2016. I want to talk about how they grew apart and gradually back together again, and how they eventually ended up in the recording studio for an entire new album after 40 years. In 1982, ABBA recorded The Day Before You Came, which turned out to be their final song together for 35 years. Following this unofficial break of ABBA, during the early 1980s, there were quite a few almost reunions, mainly because Frida, Björn and Benny were promoting their solo works on the same occasion. Frida promoted her second solo album in English, Shine, Björn and Benny their musical Chess. Frida also attended some of the premieres of Chess, as did Agnetha. For Frida's solo album, Björn and Benny wrote one song called Slowly. During the promotion for Shine, this is what Frida said about a possible reunion of ABBA.
Det som talar mest för det, nu kan ju bara jag ge min personliga uppfattning om det hela. Det är på något sätt så känns inte kapitlet ABBA avslutat än. Jag har en dröm och det är att vi skulle kunna komma tillsammans igen och spela in ett album.
This dream wouldn't happen for 33 years. In 1985, Björn and Benny came together with Agnetha for a ceremony celebrating gold records for Agnetha's 2 solo albums from the 80s. And finally, 1 year later, all 4 members of ABBA came together and performed the song Tivets Hambo on TV, a song from ABBA's manager Stig Andersson, recorded in celebration of his life and work. This was the only time that all 4 members came together publicly, side by side, for the next 30 years. But in 1986, 1 month later, they were together one more time, but privately, performing another song together. This happened for the 40th birthday party of Glass of Geijerstam, who was ABBA's sound engineer for their concerts. The song they sang was called Der kleine Klaus, a rewritten version of the Chess song Der kleine Franz. ABBAOnTV.com wrote, Glass confirmed this to be true and confessed that he even has it recorded on video. This is a privately owned video by Glass himself, so we must accept that we will never see this. In 1987, Frida was one of the many ladies in the all-female choir for the title track of Benny's first solo album, Klinga mina klockor. Not long after that, Frida and Agnetha withdrew from public for quite a few years, so any more sightings with either Björn or Benny became less possible. A reunion with ABBA seemed impossible. In 1993, Björn, Benny and Frida came together to receive platinum records for ABBA Gold. In 1995, Agnetha attended the premiere of Björn and Benny's second musical Christina. Once again, no photos were taken of the 3 together. Other sort of reunions only happened privately for birthday parties. Agnetha would attend for Björn's 50th birthday in 1995. For Benny's 50th birthday, Björn and Agnetha would attend. On the 21st of June 1999, all 4 members of ABBA came together privately one more time for their secretary Görel Hanser's 50th birthday party. This happened in Stockholm, on the island of Skeppsholmen, at the Modern Museum's restaurant, which is not far away from Benny's recording studio Mono Music, the studio where ABBA would eventually record together again in another 18 years down the line. On that birthday party in 1999, ABBA sang a Swedish song for Görel, and apparently there is a photo of this occasion framed somewhere at Benny's Mono Music facilities. In April 2000, Björn and Benny came together for Agnetha's 50th birthday party. So as we can see, especially during the 1990s, the members of ABBA seem to have maintained contact for many private occasions. Publicly, it got much more interesting in the last 20 years.
ABBA Gold.
After the important compilation ABBA Gold from 1992, another new life for ABBA's music was set in motion. The musical Mamma Mia opened in 1999. A project that would be so important until this day, for more and more people and generations to discover the music of ABBA, and for ABBA themselves to come together again, closer and closer. In May 2000, Frida, Benny and Björn attended the North American premiere of the musical Mamma Mia in Toronto. In 2003, Frida and Benny came together for the premiere of Mamma Mia in Las Vegas, and a second time in December for the premiere of the new restoration of ABBA the movie. As far as I know, they were not seen together, at least not on photographs. In 2004, ABBA released Our Last Video Ever, a celebration of their music in words and song, with 4 puppets as ABBA, and all 4 members of ABBA making cameo appearances. But they were filmed individually. Agnetha and Frida filmed their parts separately, but they were edited together to look like they appeared together. In the same year, Björn, Benny and Frida reunited for the 5th anniversary of Mamma Mia and the 30th anniversary of ABBA winning the Eurovision Song Contest. This event was captured and turned into a narrative for the official documentary Super Troopers, 30 Years of ABBA. In 2005, all 4 members attended the Swedish premiere of Mamma Mia, but they did not appear together, and apparently they were sitting so far from each other that it was impossible to get them together into one photograph. Björn and Frida would frequently attend premieres for the Mamma Mia musical around the world. In January 2007, for Mamma Mia in Stockholm, Agnetha, Björn and Benny were there. Behind the scenes, Agnetha performed the song True Love as a duet with Tommy Scherberg. No recording exists as far as I know. 1 year later, in June 2008, Frida, Björn and Benny attended the world premiere of Mamma Mia the movie in London. The following month, all 4 members of ABBA, Agnetha, Björn, Benny and Frida, attended the Stockholm premiere of Mamma Mia the movie, and this time they were finally seen together in one photograph for the first time in over 22 years, but not side by side. Agnetha and Frida were together in the center, but all the actors separated them from Björn and Benny at the specific far end. Back then, someone made this collage where the actors were cut out of the photo so that ABBA could finally be together. This wasn't the real deal, of course, but it was all we had to be happy with, at least for another 8 years. The next 2 years were possibly some of the most exciting ones, with a few unexpected surprises. In 2009, the ladies, Frida and Agnetha, appeared together in public to receive and collect the Lifetime Achievement Award for ABBA in Stockholm. In 2010, Frida and Benny came together for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction of ABBA in New York City. The same year, we got another rare combination when Benny and Agnetha filmed a video greeting for the opening of ABBA World in Australia, where Agnetha successfully cut the ribbon. It was very nice to see the 2 of them together, and it was in fact the very first time that both alone were together since 1982. In the same year, we got a third beautiful surprise when Björn and Agnetha appeared together arm in arm for the premiere of the musical Mamma Mia in Copenhagen. Finally, also in 2010, Frida and Björn attended the premiere of ABBA World. ABBA World was a traveling exhibition and basically the early version of what would evolve into the permanent official exhibition ABBA The Museum that would open in Stockholm in 2013. And for that opening, everyone assumed that the reunion of ABBA must be happening for their own museum. But it didn't. Agnetha was in London to promote her new solo album A. In Stockholm, Frida, Björn and Benny came together, but they would never appear together on this occasion. Björn and Frida gave an interview together. 1 year later, the two of them also came together for the launch of ABBA, the official photo book at the Tate Museum in London. So, by that point in time, for so many decades, we've had so many occasions when new life was injected into the music of ABBA. ABBA Gold, Mamma Mia, the musical, the movies, ABBA's documentary, ABBA's own museum, ABBA's one and only official book. But we never got to see all four members of ABBA together, side by side. All we ever hoped for was this one photograph. But by that point in time, it seemed impossible. Why should they do it? Just for the sake of being seen together, to be photographed together. And the thought of ABBA recording new music was entirely out of the question. And above all, everything seemed to have been done. What else could there be? There was one thing left. It turned out to be another variation of the Mamma Mia franchise. Mamma Mia, the Party. But on the 10th of January 2016, David Bowie died. Just 2 days before his death, he released his brand new and final studio album Black Star. The music videos for this album were done by two people called Johan Renck and Swana Gisla. What are the chances that those two would happen to become very important for ABBA's future legacy? But above all, this unexpected event of this album Black Star and Bowie's death seemed to have ignited a worldwide reminder of finality, mortality. I don't know if there ever was any conscious or subconscious impact for any of the members of ABBA. But 10 days later, ABBA finally reunited in public, side by side, after 30 years. It was the 20th of January 2016. A new project called Mamma Mia, the Party had its world premiere in Stockholm. On that day, all four members of ABBA arrived individually, one after another. For some reason, hope was in the air. During the evening, they could be seen seated at tables not too far from each other, Frida and Agnetha together at one. According to a later statement from Björn, it was Frida and Agnetha who approached Benny and Björn and suggested that they should walk on stage together to thank their fans. In a private video, we can see Frida talking to Björn. Benny is sitting close to them, his son Ludwig standing behind him, Agnetha at another table. On ABBA's final music video in 1982, Under Attack, ABBA disappeared into the foggy light. What a marvelous scenery of finality. But then, more than 3 decades later, fog and bright lights appeared again, and out of that, finally, ABBA appeared together for the first time in 30 years, just the four of them as one entity. It was the very first time since their final performance in 1986, almost exactly to the date. Words just cannot describe the feelings and emotions that all of us felt back then. And as you have seen now, ABBA really kept the mystery going for decades, with many seemingly missed opportunities, but also many beautiful surprises. So to finally see them together was such a poignant and magical moment. And it literally was a moment of magic, because this moment seemed to have ignited a fate of events. 5 months later, on the 5th of June 2016, Björn and Benny threw a huge private party in Stockholm to celebrate the 50th anniversary of their friendship and working partnership. Over 350 guests were there, amongst them Agnetha and Frida. They performed ABBA's song The Way Old Friends Do live on stage. Björn and Benny thanked them on stage afterwards. It was the second time in 1 year that all four of them were seen together. Just 4 months later, in October 2016, ABBA made headlines. ABBA set to launch new digital experience. Frida was quoted, "Our fans around the world are always asking us to reform, and so I hope this new ABBA creation will excite them as much as it excites me." No one knew by that time that this would lead to ABBA to record an entire new studio album for their fans. Let's go back in time to 1984.
Det som talar mest för det, nu kan ju bara jag ge min personliga uppfattning om det hela. Det är på något sätt så känns inte kapitlet ABBA avslutat än. Jag har en dröm och det är att vi skulle kunna komma tillsammans igen och spela in ett album.
On the 29th of May 2017, ABBA were back together in the recording studio. In an official statement 1 year later, they said, "The decision to go ahead with the exciting ABBA Avatar project had an unexpected consequence. We all four felt that, after some 35 years, it could be fun to join forces again and go into the recording studio. So we did, and it was like time stood still, and that we only had been away on a short holiday. An extremely joyful experience. It resulted in 2 new songs." The virtual project itself would evolve for several years. Important people became director Bailey Walsh, but also Svana Gisla, Johan Renck, and Benny's son Ludwig. And along the way, ABBA decided that 2 songs weren't enough. They recorded an entire studio album. The 2 new songs premiered on the 2nd of September 2021. I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down. The third single was Just an Ocean. The album Voyage was released on the 5th of November 2021. It went to number 1 in almost 20 countries worldwide. The final single from the album Little Things became ABBA's song for Christmas. The virtual concert experience had its world premiere on the 26th of May 2022. All 4 members of ABBA arrived together in a small cab, appeared on the red carpet, gave interviews together, and appeared on stage after the show to bow out to their fans. This new project gave us an enormous amount of photographs of ABBA in the studio, taking professional photo sessions, working on the project, attending the world premiere. As gradually as they grew apart after 1982, they somehow grew together again over the years, exactly as naturally as they came together in the first place in the 1970s. With Voyage, ABBA came back together to complete the story, to say hello, to show how friendship and love can endure, how the work they have done was just too strong. They had to come back for all the new fans, for the old ones, for themselves and all of us to have this moment in space and time, to experience this wonder just one more time, and close the book to give us a farewell. For me, it was the first time to experience the release of a new ABBA studio album and to experience ABBA for an ABBA project.